Hello, this is the Tradesight Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 24th of August, 2014, and ending Friday, the 29th. That will wrap up August, which is traditionally the slowest month of the year for Forex, although we did get a move this last week, a little bit at least. We finally broke out of this range, as you can see on the dollar index. We've been complaining about this range in the 81 down to 79 area, really the bulk of it from 81 to 79.50, topping out a little bit once in a while at 81.50 for the last year. We finally broke the range. It has not yet led to better intraday activity, but we're also in August where so many people are not trading, especially in Europe. Forex isn't usually too interesting here. So we'll see if this leads to something. Maybe this will get the Forex market moving once again finally, and that would be very exciting. But other than that, it's still been a fairly flat week overall. Here's a look, by the way, at the dollar index, showing you that we are, as of Thursday, we were 10 bars up, and now as of Friday, if I go to projection mode, 11 bars up, which means when we get to that 13, we'll get a seeker sell signal potentially, so we might get a little reversal off of that point. But it doesn't have to happen tomorrow either. Obviously, charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. All right, let's take a look at some of the individual currency pairs, see what they did. Here's the euro dollar, and I should point out that this is now 12 bars down. So one more day down on the euro will give us a 13 buy signal right around the same time the dollar index would be giving us that sell signal. Not a coincidence, of course. Here's the pound dollar, and it's just starting a seeker count after a new 9-bar startup phase is completed, heading back towards that red static trend line, which would be the target right now. On the pound dollar, here's a look at the Aussie dollar, dead flat, nothing going on there. Here's a look at the New Zealand dollar, getting close to a 13 as well. And here's a look at the pound yen, just to check one of the cross pairs. This thing's been totally dead for a while now. So hopefully this could lead to something, but once we got to get out of August. On your typical year, August would be slow. September, by mid-September, you start to see things pick up, and then you go. But we've been in this narrow range with bad activity for so long. I'm not going to count my chickens quite yet. Let's take a look at the intra-week action here on the couple of the major pairs just to see what our ranges were, and then we'll look at the data coming out this week and what to focus on. So here's 30-minute bars on the euro since last Friday's close. High to low for the week is about 180 pips, which is not great, but it's reasonable, a little better than the last couple of weeks where we were stuck in like 60, 70 pip ranges. We did sort of decline. We had a winner that we carried a couple of days for a decent gain. And that hasn't happened in a while either because the market hasn't moved consistently. So if we could get, there's two things you want to see when you're trading Forex, either good big ranges intraday where you can make some money, decent money intraday, or a couple of days in a row in the same direction where you can hold the positions. And our trading system is designed to take advantage of that when it happens, and it certainly did here. Not that it was a big move, but we did lock in some decent gains. All right, so there's a look at the euro, and again, Friday, a little bit of a wiggle at the end there. Here's a look at the pound during the week. High to low there is only about 160, 180 pips again, same as the other almost. With a pretty active move on Tuesday that wasn't really catchable, and this one was flatter for the rest of the week, not as consistent as the euro dollar. So I'm glad our calls those days were in the euro dollar. Let's take a look now at the data coming out this week so to get ourselves set up. Now here's the biggest thing to keep in mind. This is the end of August. It's the end of summer. Europe is all on vacation. And we've got Labor Day weekend here in the U.S. coming up next weekend. So what that means is you're going to wrap up the month and go into a 3-day weekend immediately. Nobody's going to be around on Friday for trading anything. Probably won't be around all week. But let's just look at the data that's coming out and see what we can kind of predict for ourselves. So the first day of the week, there's no data Sunday night, but Monday is a bank holiday in the UK. So on top of everything else, you might as well not trade Monday night. If the UK is shut down, Forex is pretty slow. We got flash services PMI and new home sales out of the US. We have trade balance out of New Zealand skipping to Monday night, SPPI out of Japan, CB leading index out of China. Tuesday, BBA mortgage approvals out of the UK, corporate profits out of Canada. In the US, we have durable goods. We have S&P Composite 20 HPI, that's the housing price index. We've got consumer confidence. We've got the Richmond Manufacturing Index. New Zealand that night, again, jumping ahead 8 hours, 9 hours to the FPI in New Zealand. Construction work done data out of Australia on to Wednesday where there's almost nothing for the whole 24 hours. UBS consumption indicator out of Switzerland. German import prices and consumer climate. The only data in the US is the crude oil inventories at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then Australia, some minor data points that don't matter. Thursday, getting close to wrapping up the month. This is the bigger day for data. Overnight, the German preliminary CPI, Spanish CPI, employment level out of Switzerland, Germany's unemployment change data, Italian retail sales, money supply out of Europe, Italian 10-year bond auction, CBI realized sales out of the UK, current account out of Canada, and then here in the US, the weekly unemployment data, claims data, the preliminary GDP. Now that's the second look at Q2's GDP. It's not as important as the first one. We don't have to worry about that number. Pending home sales, natty gas out of New Zealand that night, building consents, consumer confidence out of the UK, and then Japan does a data dump with a bunch of CPI data, household spending, unemployment rate, industrial production, and retail sales over the course of 20 minutes. New Zealand's business confidence, Australia's private sector credit, housing starts out of Japan, German retail sales, nationwide HPI out of the UK. This is moving into Friday now. Italian unemployment data, preliminary business investment out of the UK, CPI and core CPI out of the broad European sector, along with their unemployment rate. That's a lot of data all at once. Be aware of that. That's big data, two big numbers coming out at the same time. Canada's GDP, RMPI, and IPPI, and we wrap up Friday morning with core PCE, price index, personal spending and income, Chicago PMI, and the last look at consumer sentiment out of University of Michigan for the month of August. A lot of data there on Friday for the U.S. and overnight, but again, most people are going to be heading out the door long before then for the long weekend here in the U.S. So we're starting the week with a UK holiday. We're ending the week going into a U.S. holiday. There will be no trade calls next Sunday because the U.S. will be on bank holiday on Monday. Really should not be any trade calls this Sunday. I probably won't even put them up if the UK is on holiday. It doesn't make sense. Things don't move. And that just leaves 3 days in the middle of the week for something to maybe happen. And then hopefully in September, we'll see if we can stay out of that range we were trapped in for so long coming into September. Maybe we can actually get something a little more exciting going in Forex to wrap up the year, get back to what we were seeing 12 months ago. That is it. We will be in the trading lab to help you out if you need the help. Have a great week and weekend.